Are you feeling, I don't know, just utterly overwhelmed by everything you're supposed to care about in this noisy world? What if the secret to a more meaningful, maybe less stressful life isn't about caring more, but actually about caring less? Specifically, about the right things. Welcome to the deep dive. We plunge into fascinating ideas, we strip away the noise, and we try to extract those truly potent nuggets of knowledge that help you navigate life with more clarity and, well, freedom. Today, we're diving deep into the surprisingly blunt, yet incredibly liberating philosophy behind the subtle art of choosing what matters. It's a book that might just deliver that sort of slap in the face you didn't know you needed, but, in the most empowering way imaginable. And hey, if you find these insights sparking something new for you as we go, do make sure to hit that like button, maybe share this deep dive with someone who needs it, and definitely subscribe to the deep dive so you never miss out on becoming well-informed fast.
That's a great summary. It really isn't about ignoring the world. It's more about strategic focus in a world that's constantly screaming for your attention. What's truly fascinating about this book is its broad appeal. I mean, we've seen its principles embraced by everyone from like high-pressure startup founders to therapists helping clients navigate emotional overload, and even elite military units like Navy SEALs. It really speaks to a fundamental human yearning for clarity amidst all the chaos. The potential for genuine personal transformation and, yeah, real-world success often begins just by shifting your perspective on what truly merits your emotional energy.
Okay, that immediately sets the stage. Let's unpack the first core idea then, because it really challenges a massive misconception about what it means to, truly not give a feck.
Yeah.
Most people hear that phrase and jump straight to apathy, right? Like it means you just don't care about anything.
Exactly. That's the common misinterpretation, being indifferent or even dismissive. But Manson makes it crystal clear. It's about figuring out what not to care about so you can wisely choose what to care about. It's about being selective, not senseless.
So it's not about having no forks to give, but understanding you have a sort of finite number of them, like a precious resource for your emotional and mental energy. How does understanding that actually change our approach day to day?
Oh, it changes everything, really. When you realize your emotional bandwidth is limited, you naturally become more discerning. You start to guard it. There was a 2015 Harvard Psych study that really highlights this. They found people who intentionally focused only on priorities they could actually control. Well, they felt a remarkable 21% more life satisfaction. It's a direct correlation,
Yeah.
essentially. When you stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable or just plain irrelevant, you free up immense capacity for what truly matters.
That's a really powerful distinction. It's about directing your valuable mental and emotional resources where they actually generate impact. You think about someone like Elon Musk, for instance. He famously seems to ignore just endless media criticism, right? But then he obsessively focuses on every tiny detail of product design, every engineering challenge. His fix clearly go to what moves the needle for him, not what just distracts from it.
Precisely. His focus is almost entirely internal on creation and problem solving rather than external validation or distraction. It's kind of a masterclass in strategic caring.
Okay, so what does this pivotal insight mean for you listening right now? Here's a practical step, maybe something to try tonight. Write down 3 things that are currently stressing you out, really demanding your attention. Then look at each one and honestly ask yourself, is this truly worth my limited emotional energy? And here's the brave part. Cross out 2 of them. Seriously. Just try letting them go. See what space that creates.
That exercise is surprisingly difficult, isn't it? But incredibly liberating when you actually do it. Which brings us neatly to our next core idea. And it's another one that challenges a really fundamental assumption about, well, human nature. Manson famously says, life is problems. Happiness is solving them. This directly confronts our cultural obsession with constant positivity and, avoiding anything that feels bad.
Yeah, that's a tough pill for many to swallow, isn't it? We're so conditioned to chase the good feelings and sidestep pain at all costs. But Manson suggests avoiding problems doesn't actually make the pain disappear. It just delays or maybe redirects genuine growth.
Absolutely. Think of it like a muscle, right? It only grows stronger when it encounters resistance. Our resilience, our character, our deepest sense of accomplishment, it comes from engaging with and overcoming challenges, not avoiding them. This resonates deeply with Stanford professor Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on the growth mindset, the belief that our intelligence and abilities aren't fixed but can actually grow through effort and dedication. She found that people who viewed problems as challenges rather than like insurmountable obstacles performed significantly better under pressure, and they recovered something like 40% faster from setbacks. They see the struggle as part of the journey, not a deterrent.
That's a profound shift in perspective, really. And you see this philosophy embodied in people like Oprah Winfrey. Her journey to extraordinary success was certainly not about avoiding her incredibly difficult past or her traumas. She confronted them, worked through them, and remarkably used them as fuel for her career and her impact. That's where true freedom often lies, not being shackled by what you've avoided, but maybe empowered by what you've overcome.
Freedom is almost always found on the other side of confrontation. Yeah, not evasion.
So, for you, here's a bit of a challenge. Identify one nagging issue you've been actively avoiding. Maybe it's making that difficult phone call, or writing that tough email, or initiating that overdue conversation. Make it your mission to tackle it. Just take that first step.
This next concept, it often feels like a punch to the gut initially, I think, but it's arguably one of the most liberating insights in the entire book.
It does sting a bit. Manson directly attacks what he calls the entitlement epidemic, this pervasive sort of modern idea that everyone needs to feel exceptional, unique, and special all the time, 24/7. But his paradox is brilliant. If everyone is special, then by definition, nobody actually is.
Precisely. And the true liberation, as he frames it, comes not from endlessly chasing uniqueness or validation, but from chasing honesty, from embracing your fundamental, maybe even comfortable averageness, which paradoxically opens the door to genuine self-worth rooted in effort. Trying to force yourself to feel exceptional all the time can actually be incredibly detrimental. Consider this. A University of Michigan study found that teens with inflated self-esteem, the kind that wasn't earned through genuine effort, were 3 times more likely to develop anxiety by age 25.
Wow, that's a crucial distinction. Self-esteem built on real effort versus self-esteem that's just sort of handed to you or assumed. You hear this philosophy echoed in elite high-performance communities too, like the Navy SEALs. Jocko Willink, a retired Navy SEAL, he famously preaches discipline over delusion with his powerful mantra, "You are nothing, earn everything." It's all about humility and continuous, relentless effort, isn't it?
It truly is. It's about understanding that worth is something you build. It's a product of your actions and contributions, rather than something you're just born with or are owed.
So how to internalize this for yourself? Maybe the next time you feel that pang of resentment or like life owes you something, try flipping the script. Instead of dwelling on what you think you deserve, ask yourself, okay, what can I earn instead?
Our values.
Yeah.
They're like the unseen architects of our lives, really. And Manson profoundly emphasizes that choosing the right ones is absolutely critical to a life well lived.
But that begs the question, what actually makes a good value versus a bad one? Because we all operate by values, right? Whether we're conscious of them or not.
Right. Manson lays out some clear criteria for what he calls good values. They must be reality-based, socially constructive, and immediate. They're actionable, they're within your control, and grounded in the real world. Now, contrast those with what he deems bad values, which often revolve around external validation, things like chasing popularity, the constant, often exhausting pursuit of success for its own sake, or maybe that need to always be right in every argument.
Okay, so values like honesty, curiosity, resilience. Those would be healthy because they're within our control and they inherently lead to growth and hopefully positive outcomes. But toxic values would be like always needing to win or always needing to be liked because those are often dependent on external factors, right? They can lead to unhealthy compromises or even self-deception.
Precisely. And an NYU study reinforces beautifully. It showed that people who prioritized values over validation were significantly less reactive to criticism. They bounced back quicker and actually stayed about 25% more productive during setbacks. They had this sort of inner compass that kept them stable regardless of the external turbulence. Think about Brené Brown. She built her entire career on the value of vulnerability, a concept many once perceived as a weakness, but it ultimately helped her connect with and inspire millions globally. That's a powerful example of a good value leading to profound and authentic impact.
That's such an important point. And considering what we've just discussed about problems and values, here's that midpoint question for you. What's one bad value you might be holding on to that perhaps you're now ready to challenge? We'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And maybe for tonight, ask yourself this. Are my deepest values genuinely helping me grow? Or are they maybe just helping me avoid discomfort or pain?
That kind of self-reflection leads us naturally to another powerful realization that Manson really brings to the forefront, that we are constantly making choices, even when it feels like we're not.
That's a powerful idea, yeah. Whether it's your job, your relationships, your daily routines, it's so easy to feel stuck, like things are just happening to you. But the reality is we're often making active choices, even if they're subconscious sometimes, about our continued involvement, our attitude, and our response.
And that's where our greatest power lies, even in the most difficult circumstances. The power to choose how you respond. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and renowned psychologist, captured this profound insight from his own unimaginable suffering. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the freedom to choose one's attitude." That statement, coming from someone who literally lost everything, is truly transformative when you let it sink in.
It really is. It puts our own daily frustrations into such sharp perspective. Think about Thomas Edison. After his entire laboratory, filled with years of his life's work and research, burned completely to the ground. Instead of despairing, his immediate reframe was, now we can start fresh. He chose his attitude in that moment of devastating loss. He chose his response.
That is the ultimate choice, isn't it? It's often the last freedom we possess.
So here's something to try next time. The next time you face a setback, big or small, instead of defaulting to, why me, or this isn't fair, try pivoting to a more empowering question. Okay, what's my move now? That simple shift can be revolutionary.
Our next concept is uncomfortable for many, I think. It's something our society often tries to avoid at all costs.
Oh,
Failure.
Oh, yes, the inevitable reality. Manson doesn't pull any punches here. You will fail a lot. In fact, if you're not failing sometimes, you're likely not doing anything new, right? Not pushing your boundaries, not truly living or growing.
Exactly. He asserts that improvement is based on thousands of tiny failures. Far from being an obstacle, failure is absolutely the path to transformation and true success. Look at the incredible story of James Dyson. He created, what, 5,127 prototypes before finally inventing the bagless vacuum cleaner. That wasn't one giant leap. It was thousands of iterations, thousands of failures that ultimately led to a groundbreaking invention and a global company.
5,000 prototypes. Wow. That really puts our own little missteps and setbacks into perspective, doesn't it? And studies consistently back this idea up. A Princeton study, for example, showed that students who feared failure the most tended to avoid new opportunities. And in the long run, they actually earned about 15% less income over time. Fear of failure can literally cost you progress, growth, and potential.
It truly can paralyze you. Sarah Blakely, the self-made billionaire founder of Spanx, she has this brilliant anecdote about her father asking her every single night at dinner, "What did you fail at today?" He consciously trained her from a young age to celebrate risk-taking and to see failure as an essential part of learning and growth, not something to be ashamed of.
That's incredible parenting, really. So maybe challenge your own perspective on mistakes. Tonight, set a mini goal for yourself that you are almost guaranteed to be imperfect at. Maybe it's trying a new recipe you're sure to mess up a little, or sketching something even if you think you can't draw. Then just do it anyway. Embrace the imperfection.
And this leads us to the final, perhaps most profound and certainly most sobering chapter. It's the ultimate reality check.
And then you die, so use your time well. Morbid. Maybe it sounds that way to some, but Manson argues it's incredibly powerful. Truly internalizing that life is finite can be an incredibly freeing experience, forcing you to get brutally honest about what truly matters and what simply doesn't.
Absolutely. When you stop living under the sort of unconscious pretense that you'll live forever, you become incredibly clear about your priorities. Manson recounts a fascinating cultural example, visiting a remote village in South America where people literally live with the actual skeletons of their loved ones in their homes. While it sounds incredibly dark to our Western sensibilities, he found it didn't foster dread. Instead, it cultivated a profound sense of gratitude for life and incredible clarity about what was genuinely important, stripping away trivial concerns.
That's a powerful, tangible reminder of mortality. It grounds you, doesn't it? And psychology today actually backs this up, suggesting that people who actively practice memento mori, that ancient practice of remembering death, tend to make bolder, more authentic decisions and experience significantly less regret later in life.
Because it forces them to confront what genuinely matters, rather than getting caught up in the endless trivialities and distractions of daily life. Steve Jobs famously articulated this sentiment: "Remembering you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. It strips away the fear of failure, the fear of criticism, leaving only the clarity of purpose."
That truly prompts deep personal reflection. So for you, here's maybe the ultimate question to sit with. If I knew I only had 1 year left to live, what would I immediately stop caring about today?
Okay, let's quickly recap these 7 core lessons from our deep dive today because they really do build upon each other in a powerful way. First, you only have so many fixes to give, so spend them wisely, strategically. Second, remember that happiness comes from solving problems, not endlessly avoiding them. Third, try to embrace that you're not special, because that's where your true power to earn your worth lies. Fourth, choose values that genuinely help you grow, not just ones that feel good in the moment. Fifth, understand that you're always choosing your response, your attitude, even when it hurts. Sixth, fail forward, fail fast, fail often, because failure is the path, not the obstacle. And finally, seventh, death is coming. So live intentionally with purpose.
That's incredibly powerful stuff summarized like that. And now for a practical 3-day challenge, directly inspired by these insights, designed to maybe kickstart your own journey towards strategic caring. Day 1. Take some real time to write down everything that is not worth your precious energy anymore. Be ruthless with yourself. Day 2. Take concrete action on just one difficult problem you've been actively avoiding. Make that call, send that email, have that conversation. Just one. And day 3. Share one failure publicly, could be with a trusted friend, a family member, or even online if you're brave, and reflect honestly on what you truly learned from it.
Ultimately, as the book itself puts it so succinctly, the subtle art of not giving effect isn't about being reckless. It's about being real. And when you finally stop caring about the wrong things, you create space for the right ones.
So, if choosing what truly matters is the path to personal freedom and authentic success, what one right thing are you finally ready to care about unapologetically? And that leads to our final question for you today. After this deep dive, what's one thing you'll stop giving a feck about starting today? Let us know in the comments below. We really do read them. And if this deep dive sparks something meaningful for you, please share it with a friend, a family member, or anyone who you think needs to stop overthinking and start truly living. Until next time, give a feck wisely.